You are a psychopath. What the fuck?
Yeah, my uncle did taxidermy, so yeah, but he wasn't a psychopath. He was just an alcoholic.
Yeah, but I mean, it was just the look on his face. It's not that he went on the hunting trip. It's the look on his face when he was describing it in gory detail.
Yep.
Like, it was pretty frightening, actually. All right, I'm going to spend 10 minutes trying to bring the outline up on my phone like I do every time.
25 fucking times we've done this.
Yeah.
That blows my mind a little bit. I think, see, I hear stories all the time of people starting podcasts, businesses, whatever, and they go on for a long time without catching on or whatever, and then all of a sudden, blammo, it blows up.
Yeah, that happens.
That's gonna happen to us, right?
Probably, especially if I ever start putting in the effort that I keep saying I'm going to do to market.
I don't know, dude. It's not your fault. It's we have to get, because I've been consulting with a few people that are smarter than me and better at this than me to find out what. And I think one of the things that they said is absolutely crucial. It's just consistency, that we have to do this on a schedule and we have to do it every time. And so I we've at least got that going for us. And then I look back at like the first episode, and the presentation of what we have is so much better than what we had back then.
Oh yeah, we're definitely getting better at it. There's no doubt about it.
That's to be expected, because if that weren't happening, then we should have gave up after episode 5.
Right.
We're still here. But this is a podcast where we kvetch about the kvetchable things of the previous week, and there's never a shortage.
No, and we use a lot of adult language, so put your kids away.
Adult language. That's an interesting way to put it, motherfucker. How's my audio, by the way?
It sounds fine, but if you want to try a different mic so I can see if it sounds different.
All right, hold on. This is option 1. This is option number 2.
Option 1.
That's what I thought. I got to figure out a way to label these microphones so that it's more common sense-ish. Anyway, good morning.
Good morning.
There's just so much to talk about.
Yeah, there is. There's more that I could have put in here, but we're trying to stay under an hour. This was a big week. First of all, I don't know if just off the record here, I don't know if you can find that video of the kid bonking that police officer with the 5-gallon water jug, but I would love to open our podcast with every episode with that.
I agree.
Pump, pump, pump. That's so the greatest video I've ever seen.
And there's
and the sound too. The sound is good if you get it with the sound.
Somebody made a graphic, and I think they're selling stickers, and it says ACAB.
Yeah, I've seen people make T-shirts and stuff.
Well, this one says ACAB, and it stands for All Cops Are Bonkable.
Yeah, I saw that.
I love it.
Or maybe you sent it to me, actually.
So let's just dive right in. Fucking, what the fuck, Harvey Weinstein?
Yeah, I don't really understand what happened, but the New York Court of Appeals overturned his conviction because they said there were witnesses that he assaulted that testified, but he wasn't charged with in that trial, and that shouldn't have happened. And I know that's a thing, but I really don't understand why that's a thing. Why is past behavior not admissible in court? It's not. I know it isn't. Like, I've seen that many times. Judges throw out, past crimes and stuff when they're trying someone for something, but I don't really understand why.
I'm sure there are legal analyses out there about that decision already. I'll look up some reliable ones and I'll intersperse them into this conversation in post. But yeah, I was shocked when I saw the fucking headline.
Yeah. Well, the prosecutors can recharge him if they want, and he didn't get out of jail because his conviction in California is still standing, so he's still in prison. So
So what state was it that, or it wasn't a federal conviction, was it?
No, it was New York State.
Okay. New York State. What a fucking place.
So yeah, they have the option of retrying them without those witnesses, which I'd imagine could still end in a conviction if they choose to do that. But I just don't understand that whole legal concept. You know what I mean? If I just don't. Like, how do you when they convict serial killers, don't they bring up all the people they killed, even though they're only maybe charging them with a handful of them?
Yeah, I don't know, bro.
I don't know either, but it doesn't seem to. I don't understand.
Well, since we've mentioned New York State, and it's not on the thing, but let's just talk about it real quick. Fucking judge, whatever his name is, in the porn star hush money thing.
Yeah, he changed the rules on the gag order because Trump violated it. Is that what you want to talk about?
Yeah, that's it.
It's like, oh, you violated the gag order, so I'll just change it. What
The
the fuck?
yeah, the fucking, when this trial kicked off and it was going to happen, people were so sure that because this is a criminal trial, yeah, this judge ain't gonna fuck around. This is it. The hammer's getting dropped. No, the fuck it isn't. It's just fucking, oh my god. And then
Yeah, I've lost all faith in the legal system. He's the justice system. He's not gonna face any justice. I just don't see it
and
anymore.
I can't, well, I can understand it on a certain level, but the people who are his sycophants that are seeing this dynamic and cheering it on and not understanding how this is the most graphic representation of how you are fucked, because you don't exist in that tangent of the justice system, and you never will. You will never get the preferential treatment that that son of a bitch is getting, no matter how much you're lapping at his balls. It's fucking ridiculous how stupid these people are.
Yeah, 100%.
It's fucking
I mean,
unreal.
all those people that stormed the Capitol on January 6th that are in prison, they should know that they faced a different judicial system than Trump is.
I want to grab these people by the fucking ears and shake their fucking heads until this point gets through to their fucking gray matter. I
You know, a chunk of Fannie Willis's case against Trump got thrown out too.
was
I
Yeah,
don't know
but
if you
that was a
saw
couple,
that.
wasn't that a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, but I don't think we talked about it.
The Rico
It's
thing.
just yeah. Like a lot of the charges she charged him with are still standing, but several of them got thrown out. But the reason it got thrown out makes no sense to me either. The judge said it was too broad. There's too much evidence that points to too many crimes, and she has to narrow down the charges to more specific crimes to match with specific evidence, is what the judge said.
Okay.
So she can do that, but that doesn't make sense to me either. There's all this evidence that he committed all these crimes, but you can't just charge him with everything. You can't throw the kitchen sink, I guess is what he said.
Which is what they
But
would do, and it would go completely through the system if it was just a routine mobster on the street.
yeah.
These are the circumstances that should be unifying us to get out on the fucking street with pitchforks and fucking flamethrowers. I mean, what more needs to happen in this fucking society for there to be again, I'm going to say it, people talk about division. Oh, we're too divided. How the fuck is this not unifying everybody? Now, granted, I don't want to be on the same team as 50 fucking percent of the fucking out there, but we are all fucked by this.
Yeah, we are.
And I'm there's not a day in history coming where I'm going to stand side by side with those guys. It's not going to happen. But you guys can go over there and burn that neighborhood down, and we'll burn this one over here, and just stay on your fucking side. But we'll burn it all down, because why the fuck aren't we? This is fucking crazy to me. My
Well,
God.
those other people aren't so mad at the rich people like we are.
I know. They're
I don't
fucking
really
mad at the
understand why
trans
not.
people. They're mad at the people receiving welfare benefits. Fucking shit.
Yeah.
God, I was fine until we started this fucking podcast. You got me all fucking worked up. God damn it.
Yeah. See, I actually yesterday I spent a good chunk of time in a truck with somebody that's a little bit. He's not a full blown far right idiot, but he's on the right. And we were in the truck together driving across town for several different trips, but a couple hours altogether. And I got to yell about all this stuff to him for a while. So I'm a little bit calmer today than I usually am because I
Well,
got some of it out yesterday.
did any of it sink in and tweak his paradigm or no?
Well, maybe. I don't know. He did seem to understand that rich people were mostly the enemy. He did seem to understand that
It's a start.
after I explained it to him several times. But
I mean, that's what I got a message from a guy I used to work with last night, and he's all he's he's complaining about how everything that he has to do costs twice as much as it did, 10 years ago. And he thought it was just the thing he was dealing with for this one task of his. And I'm like, bro, everything is twice the cost of what it is. And I said, capitalism and corporate greed is killing us. And that was like, he'd never fucking thought of that. And he's a fucking right wing MAGA fuck. And it just never occurred to him that the system. And by the way, there's a guy on TikTok who I'm gonna find out that he's an awful person at some point because everybody is, and I'm tired of finding that out. But at this point, I like his content. And one of the things that he points out frequently is the system isn't broken. The system is doing exactly what it's designed to do. It's
yeah,
functioning exactly the way they intended. It's not broken. We need to fucking break it.
yeah, they siphon wealth off the backs of the people who labor. That's what capitalism is. The people with the capital get to siphon wealth off of all the people that labor to turn their capital into more valuable things. That's capitalism in a nutshell.
Well, let that bring us into item number 2 on the agenda, because I asked you in a text message earlier this week about is the next stage of the revolution really going to happen on college campuses? It might be.
Yeah, well, I that is where they usually start. That is
Yeah.
young educated people is where revolutions start. The American Revolution started that way too. Not so much on college campuses, but it was educated, wealthy, young people. A lot of people don't realize that. Thomas Jefferson, George Washington, they were in their early 20s when they were fighting the American Revolution.
Yeah.
You picture them as like these old
I
guys,
know,
old
right?
elder statesmen, but they were kids.
Yeah.
In 1776, they were kids. So, um, yeah, that's where it starts. And I do think it's notable that the universities where this is happening, where it started anyway, is at the most elite colleges.
Mhm.
Most of these kids that are in these encampments are the children of wealthy elites.
Yeah.
And that's impressive to me. That's, first of all, it's a lot of bravery to stand up to your own privilege that way.
Yeah.
Um So yeah, I think it's great what they're doing. I think it's disgusting what the administrative tactics are and what the police are doing. That's another thing. Any cops out there, you fuckers are working people. You're not rich elite people. Why the
Yeah.
fuck aren't you on our side?
Yeah. I think that's okay.
You
That's a good
motherfuckers aren't rich.
no. That's a good point, because it once they realize that, they are not immune from the things that they're being told to put us in chains for. Once they have that epiphany and that starts to switch, I think that's a huge fucking step. But again, you've got a majority of people in that industry, in that line of work, who have the same perception of what we mentioned earlier. They don't think that the corporations and the rich And the corrupt politicians are the ones that are creating the problems. They think it's the people they're being told to target. So there's
Right.
a massive shift that needs to happen in their thinking. And I, oh my God, once that happens, everything changes. I th-
There is a reason why they won't hire you to be a police officer if you're too intelligent. There is a reason for that.
yeah, or a
And
correct,
that's it right
yeah.
there. They don't want you realizing that the people they're telling you to target aren't the real problem.
Jesus fucking Christ. So I did see that I don't remember how many it was at UT campus that were arrested and charged. Those charges have all been dropped.
Yeah, I saw that too. Well, the attorney general or whatever, not the attorney general, the
Prosecutor,
district attorney
DA. Okay,
chose not to pursue charges,
good.
which they can do. That's prosecutorial discretion. Prosecutors don't ever have to charge you with any crimes that the police arrest you for. Interesting to note.
Yeah. So I hope that gets taken further to a more logical conclusion. In that, if a prosecutor said for everyone that was arrested in that group that there's no charges to be pursued here, that something has to come back on these fucking cops who decided, oh yeah, you're going to jail. There's got to be some continuity of consequence in the system for that, because it doesn't make any sense to me that the cops can just fucking do that. And then
Have you ever seen a cop get a consequence for arresting someone for no particular crime? Because they do it all the fucking time.
I know.
There's no consequences for that. Every now and then someone will get a settlement if they decide to sue about it. That
Right.
happens. But cities and counties and whoever operates the police departments that the cop does that to, they just happily pay out those settlements. They don't even fire the cops. They give them medals. It's fucking ridiculous.
And campuses are canceling or considering canceling their graduation ceremonies.
Yeah, USC already did.
Were they the ones that
Well,
issued? Wait. Were they the ones that issued the statement in as we are anticipating pro-Palestinian protests? Therefore, because nothing had happened, but they were anticipating something's going to happen.
yes. Yeah. Well, they also had a vocally pro-Palestinian valedictorian, and before all this happened, they had chosen to cancel her valedictorian speech at graduation.
Yeah, I saw that.
And then all this stuff happened, and they just decided to cancel the graduation altogether. And I assume others will. I know some other schools went to online only classes. But here's another thing, though. All of these schools, this is like the last week, and then it's summer break. Are they going to keep this going? Or are they going to go home for summer break? That'll be interesting to see.
Well, they're not. I mean, the problem they're going to run into is once they leave campus and go on summer break, they're not a cohesive unit anymore. These kids are from all over the country.
Right.
I mean, they could, individually and in pockets continue participating in protests wherever it is that they go back to in the summer. But it's, yeah, I think that's something to watch. I think that's important. I don't see any reason why they would back down. I think these kids are risking things at the worst possible time for themselves in their their sphere of college life.
Right.
Why would they back down once they're on break from that? This is,
I don't know. And all they're asking for, well, at Columbia, what where it started, they wanted their university to stop investing in Israeli companies.
mm-hmm.
They wanted their endowment to not be invested in Israeli stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone else started asking for that in response to the way the administration at Columbia treated the Columbia students. This could have, this could have ended at Columbia if Columbia just listened to their own students and treated them right and, heard what they were saying and maybe did something.
No,
But they didn't. Instead, they suspended them all and arrested them, and that's how it spread everywhere.
Yeah, they doubled down instantly without any consideration whatsoever, and the backlash has been glorious. The response on the part of the protesters and the students has been just fucking mwah.
But then you have other people, like I saw Marsha Blackburn, Greg Abbott, Benjamin Netanyahu. They use the
yeah.
worst language. They're like, what is happening on the college campuses is horrific. They're
they're desperate.
anti-Semitism is run rampant. Dude,
They're
at USC in particular, the entire encampment had like a Jewish theme to it. They were doing like Jewish prayers and stuff. The Jewish students that are in the encampment, which, make no mistake, there are Jewish students in every single one of those encampments. Judaism does not equal Zionism. Get that right.
Yeah.
Okay. There are Jewish students in every single one of these encampments that are just as angry about what's happening in Palestine as all the other students. Okay. And the USC encampment put out a schedule of what they were doing. And it's like, 8 a.m. yoga. And then, 9 a.m. prayers. This is all the violent stuff they're doing, right?
Yeah.
But the prayers were Jewish themed. Like, I'm not Jewish, so I don't know what it all is. But they were letting the Jewish students handle the religious aspect of their encampment. So to call it anti-Semitism is just insane. But that's what they're saying, because that's how they spin it. That's how they spin it to get, more support from the evangelical Christians that are all Zionists.
I saw
another thing I want to. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
No. Go ahead.
No, I was going to move on to another topic.
So I saw a clip. This is one of the most insane clips I've ever seen. There was some woman on a campus. I don't know what campus this was on. But there were student protesters on the lawn, like not even like shoulder to shoulder. They were like little pockets of student protesters just kind of doing their thing, not harassing anybody. This woman comes through walking a dog.
Yeah, I saw that this morning.
She gets in the middle of this small group of protesters and starts making a phone call that she's being held hostage or some shit.
Yeah, while they all say, you're free to go. Just go.
And she's
free to leave.
She's got this fucking look on her face with her brow.
I'm scared.
Oh my fucking God.
All I could think about, do you remember that woman that ran up against that black man that was photographing birds or something in the park?
Yeah.
That's all. That was so reminiscent of that. So reminiscent. Calling the police and complaining someone's harassing you when they're just literally standing there.
Yeah, and they're screaming, or not screaming, but they're trying to get their voice heard on that phone call. You are free to go. You are not in harm's way. Yeah. I can't imagine what the person on the other end of the phone listening to that was thinking. I'm like, what the fuck am I supposed to do here? God damn it.
Oh my God. Yeah.
All right, moving on.
That was disgusting. But I wanted to mention, I've seen a few people post about it on TikTok, that the University of Rochester has given in to their students that have the encampment and are divesting from Israel. That is not true. I wish people didn't lie about shit. All right. What did happen? The students did get a small win, but it's really small. The University of Rochester, because they wanted the students to move their encampment to somewhere else on campus, and to get them to do that, they agreed that they would put to a vote of the faculty a measure where they would evaluate how entwined with Israel they are, what they're, because I guess on the whole, they don't even know where their money is. It sounds like.
Yeah.
So they agreed to do that. And the expectation is the faculty will approve that, but that does not bind the administration to do anything. And they absolutely did not divest from Israel. Maybe it's a step on that path, but I doubt it. And they just wanted the students to move the encampment, which the students did. Okay, so it's maybe it's a small win, but it's not the win that some people are reporting. Just keep that in mind. Keep fighting. We didn't win yet.
Yeah, anytime something gets reported to be a huge win, especially, I'm always looking at it with a fucking microscope, because chances are they're propagandizing it to appease us and calm us down.
Yeah, well, there is a website out there that people are posting that claims that the University of Rochester won and they're divesting from Israel, right? And it looks like it's a legit news site, but it isn't. It's just bullshit, because if you go look at the actual statement the administration put out, it doesn't say all that. It says the stuff I said it says. So It's a win, but it's not a big win, and it's not divestment. Definitely not.
So on this same topic, more related to the actual protests themselves, I saw a clip last night that there is apparently a database on the web where if you plug in your a badge number for any cop, it will pull up their internal affairs record in terms of disciplinary action and violations. And I saw a guy in this clip walking up to a cop that is harassing protesters, looking at his badge number, pulling up his information on this database, and reading to the cop his internal affairs violations that he's had. And the cop is just fucking shocked.
Yeah, I saw that too.
It's fucking beautiful. Yeah, that fucking link to that website needs to be, first of all, it needs to be mirrored to any other number of servers because somebody's going to take that shit down. But then that link needs to be fucking circulated to everybody, and they need to use that.
Yeah. Another thing that went around. It was just I just saw it this morning. There's an internal memo that leaked from the Department of State, the U.S. Department of State, where they were discussing the war crimes that Israel is committing. Like they know they're committing war crimes. So
I hadn't seen that.
yeah, they know.
What I did see was and it wasn't the usual. I don't know who the guy was that was doing the press conference. I'd never seen him before. But being pressed on the issue of the U.S. has asked Israel to investigate itself with
Right.
regard to the mass graves. It's fucking that statement alone is batshit crazy. And they're claiming, oh no, we don't have enough information. And then I saw another response to that where these technical experts are talking about from fucking 15,000 feet up with a fucking drone, you can read a fucking license plate. We've got drones all fucking in the air around Gaza and Israel. We know exactly what's going on. We've got eyes on it, but fucking playing like you don't fucking know what's going on.
Oh yeah, they know. They're just mad that we're finding out about it. That's what they're mad about. Hence the TikTok ban.
The TikTok ban, I want people to calm the fuck down about that because nothing's going to happen. ByteDance is going to appeal this in the DC Court of Appeals. It's going to take months and months for that appeal to be heard. And then whatever the result of that appeal is, whichever way that goes, it's gonna go to SCOTUS. And it's gonna be fucking years in the fucking court system. Nothing's gonna fucking happen. That's what I
I
think.
agree that they'll probably the ACLU has already filed lawsuits about it. So yeah. But it's still it still doesn't really subdue my anger that they passed it in the first place and lied to us about why they were doing it. That pisses me off still. I don't care.
And I agree. We need to stay pissed off about the fact that we are now more aware than ever before what an absolute bullshit game goes on in fucking DC on every fucking level. We need to stay pissed off about it, but we need to take a look at what is happening outside of DC in terms of the responses that we have available to fight back against this shit. And like you said, the ACLU filing case. I know that there are a number of lawyers that are looking at a class action suit with regard to the U.S. government infringing on citizens' rights to engage in commerce, because that's a huge part of this. And this is why this is not going to go anywhere, and I'm afraid of it being such a major distraction. And I know we can divide our attention in multiple places, but the energy behind the panic about TikTok being banned is eventually going to serve as a distraction from other things, because we don't need to put as much energy into this. It's going to take care of itself, and we need to push our energy onto the things that people are dying over.
Yeah.
I think.
All right, we haven't done an asshole of the week in a while. I'd like to nominate Jamie Dimon this week.
Okay. What did he do?
So Jamie Dimon is the president of JP Morgan. If you watch The Big Short, he's the rich asshole that calls up the Treasury Secretary or something and says the biggest bank in America doesn't have any money and it's a big deal, so you're gonna have to bail us out, right?
Mhm.
Paraphrasing, but essentially that's what he said. He whined and said, we didn't run our business right, so you have to bail us out." That's a paraphrase. That's not what he said, but that's the gist of it. But he's been the president of JP Morgan for a long time. And he did an interview this week where the interviewer, I don't remember what it was on, but the interviewer asked him, what he thinks about the American consumer today and the situation they're in. And he said, their situation is great. The stock market's up, housing prices are up, unemployment is low, jobs are plentiful. The American consumer is in a fantastic position, he says. Is that true, James?
It's absolutely fucking bullshit propaganda. This
First of all,
comes.
why does he think that the stock market being up and the housing market being up helps your average American? Honestly, your average American is not heavily invested in the stock market. Your average American does not own a home. So the housing prices being up doesn't help any fucking average American.
He doesn't know an average American. I guarantee you, in his circle of life, there are no average Americans. To him, when he hears that question or when he hears the statement average Americans, he's thinking about his rich buddies. He's thinking
Yeah,
about the
it's not
people.
quite as rich as him, buddies, maybe.
Well, right. And this brings me back to a point that I've made frequently over the past few weeks where there's propaganda about, oh, the economy is strong, the economy is doing great. If you're part of the fucking 1%.
Right.
That's the part of that sentence they always edit out. That the economy is strong if you're fucking rich. Period.
Right.
And fucking, oh my God.
We mentioned it before, but credit card delinquency is at an all-time high.
Yeah.
That means people have no money. Your average American doesn't have money. They can't pay their credit card bills. And they're probably using their credit cards to buy necessities like food. And then they can't afford to pay the bill because they don't have enough fucking money. I don't know.
Well, I support your nomination for Jamie Dimon as asshole of the week, but I would like to put a co-defendant in this, and it's the dog killing Republican bitch. What's her name?
Oh yeah, psychopath Kristi Noem.
Fuck that woman. Jesus fucking Christ. Oh.
For those who don't know, Kristi Noem wrote a memoir, and in it, she bragged and described in detail about how she had a 14-month-old puppy that she found to be difficult to train. So she took it to a gravel pit and shot it and threw it into the pit. And then when her daughter came home from school, the daughter wanted to know where the dog was. And that's when her daughter learned that her mom's a fucking psychopath.
Now, don't get it twisted, folks, because this isn't, I'm just talking about myself. This isn't me being more upset about the death of an animal than I would be the death of a child or a human being. That's not the fucking case at all. But this shit is foul. It's like bare minimum foul. And if you can't be a person who elevates above the ability to fucking kill an animal like that, an innocent fucking animal, then you're disqualified from everything else. Fuck you.
Kristi Noem saw Old Yeller and thought that kid that had to shoot his poor dog was having fun doing it.
Yeah.
She didn't see the tears streaming down his face and all the heartbreak that he had over having to kill his dog, who had rabies, by the way. That's different than being difficult to train.
Yes.
That's different.
Yes.
Shoot your dog if it has rabies. Go right ahead. But if it's just a little bit too difficult, especially when it's only 14 months old, that's still a puppy. You can still train that dog. There's still work you can do.
There's never bad dogs. It's always bad owners.
Oh, there are bad dogs. They're called canines, snitches.
Yeah.
ACAB to all those German shepherds that serve with the police force.
But they can be rehabilitated. I know this for a fact, and I'm fully on.
Because that's another place I went on we picked up a donation yesterday at a retired cop's house who now trains German shepherds for the police force. And so he had a barn in his yard with all these German shepherds in, and they were angry. We showed up, they were very angry. We didn't even do anything.
No, they're being trained. Yeah, they're being trained to do that, and that's fucking sad. Oh my God, what a week!
Yeah, I don't know. There's got to be something else we can talk about. Something
I did.
lighthearted. Anything lighthearted out there?
I can't think. My fucking brain is now fried.
You seen any good movies?
I saw a horrible movie. It's called what was it? An Evening with the Devil.
Oh, I
It's
saw that. I liked it.
it's so fucking campy. Like,
Yeah, it is. It is, but it's not accidentally campy. It's intentionally campy.
yeah, it's true. It
It's
was
good.
definitely.
I liked it.
I should have known at the opening credit roll where they said it was a Shudder movie that it was going to be that, because that's how Shudder movies are. And yeah, that's the only one I saw recently that
I
was.
like that movie. Another movie that's wild is Love Lies Bleeding. I watched that yesterday. That's a wild movie.
I think I downloaded it. I don't think I've watched it yet.
Yeah, it's interesting. Takes place in the 80s. It's interesting. There's two scenes. If you watch it, just let me know if you notice. There's two scenes in the movie that were jarring to me that didn't seem to fit with the entire rest of the movie. I was like, what the fuck is this? So see if you catch what those two scenes are.
All right.
But other than that, it was a decent movie.
I did watch. I did watch the. I think it's the second installation of the Rebel Moon series.
Yeah.
And I know people are panning it pretty hard, but I mean, it was a little slow, but I thought it was good. It was very much to me a steampunk version of Star Wars.
See, I've been holding off on watching that because is that Zack Snyder?
Yeah, this one was, yeah.
Yeah, so he specifically said that there's director's cuts that are coming out that are good and that these movies are bad. So I haven't been watching them because he said that.
All right, I'll take his word for it, because I'll tell you.
There's gonna be a director's cut that's much longer. And if you remember the Batman, which was terrible, and then the director's cut was really good.
Well, not only that, but Justice League, Zack Snyder's Justice League, that director's cut.
Yeah, I think that's what I meant.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
what I
yeah.
meant.
That's fucking that. Yeah. So
So he more or less called out the studio, said he didn't like the way they made him cut the films for the initial release, but that there will be director's cuts coming that are much better. So I've not watched them specifically because I don't want to watch them. And then, I mean, if I'm going to watch it, I just want to watch the good version first, I guess.
yeah, I wondered about that too, because that's what I thought when that director's cut of Justice League came out, is because I had watched the theatrical release of Justice League, and it felt lackluster, and I thought, God, am I really going to be able to separate that from this? And boy, howdy, it was effortless. And so I don't know. And because there was also a long gap between the theatrical release of Justice League, like years before that director's cut came out. I don't know how quickly these other director's cuts will come out. It might be years again.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, he probably has to wait for a licensing deal that he has with Netflix to expire or something.
Yeah.
Unless Netflix releases them themselves, which is possible.
I'm trying to think of stuff that is on the horizon for the next week. I mean, Trump.
Oh, we haven't talked about Trump is on trial. I mean, that's going to keep happening. He got in trouble yesterday for standing. He was standing up during the trial, and the judge yelled at him. I guess not yesterday, probably Friday.
I hadn't heard that.
Yeah. God, I wish there were cameras in that courtroom.
The fucking sketch artist that is tasked with that courtroom is getting dragged so bad because her sketches of fucking Trump are fucking hilarious.
Yeah,
I love it.
I don't know if I've seen them.
Yeah, so they're back in session tomorrow morning, right?
Yeah. I read about the first few days, but then I kind of haven't really been paying attention. I just see every now and then I'll see someone talking about Trump's behavior. So I've read a lot about that, but I don't know about the witnesses. Well, I know the National Enquirer guy more or less admitted to doing everything that they were accused of doing.
Oh yeah, fully.
So I don't know if that's illegal with that stuff, but it's shady.
Well,
right?
I think he's got some immunity. There was a deal made for him to testify that they aren't going to pursue any charges against him.
Yeah, but is it illegal for the National Enquirer to buy a story and then not publish it? That doesn't sound like it would be.
I don't
That's what
know
they
that it's
did.
still, but there are journalism standards, and the National Enquirer is not journalism.
National Enquirer ain't no way they're being held to journalism standards.
I know. I think that's a slippery slope, because that's something that has been talked about forever. That looking at criminal liability for journalists is a dangerous sort of territory, because you want freedom of the press. But so they rely on those entities to police themselves in terms of ethics and whatnot. But again, a place like the Enquirer falls outside the loop of journalism, and they sort of disqualify themselves in that way. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I don't know. I think there are good journalists out there. Unfortunately, most of them were in the newspaper industry, which is dying fast.
Yeah, I can't believe it even still
These people
exists.
on TV, most of them are not journalists. They're not journalists. They just aren't.
Yeah, I think if Walter Cronkite were alive today, he'd be turning over in his grave, if that makes any sense.
That sounds like a Yogi Berra-ism.
It probably is. Oh, fuck.
Speaking of baseball, Cleveland Guardians, man, best record in baseball. How about that?
Is that right?
Yeah.
What are they, a farm team?
Fuck you.
No, I'm serious. I've never heard of them.
All right, the Cleveland Indians, they changed their name. They're the Cleveland Guardians now.
Oh, see, I didn't know that. I knew there was a controversy.
You didn't know that?
About
That was a couple of years ago. They got politically correct. They got rid of Chief Wahoo and changed their name.
So what is their record right now?
Let's see, 17-6 maybe. I don't know. Let me look it up.
That's pretty impressive, even if it is just that. Angel Hernandez needs to fucking retire, by the way.
He does.
That fucking umpire.
He's terrible.
It's unbelievable.
He's been terrible for decades, man. He's a laughingstock.
Yeah.
He actually sued a few years ago. He sued Major League Baseball because he was complaining that he had never been picked to do a World Series. And he said it was racism. He said it was racism.
Oh, Lord.
Not his complete incompetence. Yeah. 19-8. They're 19-8.
That's outstanding.
And it's still the best record in baseball. There are a handful of teams with 18 wins, but they're the only team with 19. So, yeah. They got a new manager. They had Terry Francona. He retired after last season. So they got a brand new first-time manager. Guy that was playing baseball like 2 years ago. And he's got him playing pretty well.
Good deal.
I'm a Guardians fan. I'm a Cleveland fan. It's exciting.
I'm happy for you. I fully support your fanism for baseball in any regard. I think
you grew up in Vermont, right? So are you a Red Sox fan?
I grew up in Wisconsin, so Milwaukee Brewers have always
you're a Brewers fan. Ah.
Yeah. Actually, Robin Yount, some people might know that name.
I know that name.
Yeah, he's a distant cousin of mine.
Really?
Yep. And Paul Molitor, one of his cousins married one of my cousins. Brush with fame. But yeah, I used to go to County Stadium in high school all the time for fucking Brewers games. It was what you did. And funny enough, that growing up in Wisconsin, I was never a Packers fan. I was always an LA Rams fan. And I don't know why, but the Packers were there and we were aware of them, but we weren't really Packers fans. But I don't know. Fuck football anyway. I don't give a shit about football anymore. But I fell out of favor with baseball when the whole Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa thing was going on, and all that, the whole debacle about that. It it just became nasty. And
Yeah.
I'm hoping that baseball eventually redeems itself. And I think the next way they do that is get rid of the fucking umpires. And
Well, they're using robot umps in the minors, so it's only a matter of time.
like completely, fully.
No, it's a challenge system. So like for balls and strikes, I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It's a challenge system where I don't know if it's I don't know if the players can do it or if the manager has to do it, but they can challenge a strike or a ball call. And I've seen some clips of it. It literally takes like 1 second.
Yeah.
They just like raise their hand like I want to challenge, and then like 1 second later because they've been tracking using cameras and stuff the balls and strikes for a decade or more, right? Major League Baseball, that's how they evaluate the umpires, how good they are. So they've already been doing it. So now you can just challenge, and they'll quick look at the pitch track and change it if they can, if they need to.
It's just common fucking sense. There's no reason not to do this.
Everything should be reviewable.
Yeah.
Everything. The fact that they say, "Oh, well, that call isn't reviewable." Why the fuck not? If you can correct an error, correct it. I will never understand. First of all, I would think the umpires would support that, because when an umpire makes a bad call and it stands, people get pissed at that fucking umpire. But if it gets corrected, nobody even remembers it.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Okay, but on your statement that you think that the umpires should support this, don't you think that, first of all, the umpires are in a union? I don't know what union they're in. They've got to be in a union.
They're in the umpires union.
Okay, simple enough. They have to be looking at this as though it threatens their livelihood, because really, what need is there for the human umpire other than a nostalgic purpose when everything is scrutinized on video? I mean, really?
Well, because the way it's working in the minors now, the umpires are still making all the calls. They just can challenge and correct ones that are wrong.
But why? That's the thing, though, is why are they there to make those calls? Why isn't it all just being done on video?
Well, yeah, that's an interesting point.
I think it's nostalgia.
I don't know. Here, I will put it this way. I like that the strike zone is not always what it shows on the computer thing. I like that. So I play MLB The Show, right? Video game baseball. Yeah. And there's a setting in there where you can have balls and strikes sometimes be wrong. Like the computer umpire will sometimes make the wrong call. And I always have that on. I like it. I like getting mad about it. I like getting a strike 3 called when it's clearly outside and they get called strike 3 and I go, "Oh, fuck." I like it. So
okay, I can see that. That's useful.
Now, what I don't like is the ones that you've seen on TikTok where it's like way out. It's not even close. It's like feet off the plate. No, that's not okay. You got to get those calls right. But when it's close, I like it. I like it. I like it going one way or the other when it's close.
I will let you have that. You may continue to run with that. Oh shit. There was something else I was going to mention that just fucking left me right now. But we will continue to keep an eye on things, and we will police the world for you people and come back here and let you know what you need to be mad about next week.
Yep.
I always leave these and think, oh, there can't be possibly anything in the next 6 days that's going to piss me off. And then as soon as I stop recording, I look at my phone and it's like, fuck, it's already starting. But it's useful, I guess. So yeah, we're gonna on the Twitch issue. What I noticed is that when we streamed on Twitch last week, that it streamed live, but then it kept the video available on our account for a specific amount of time. That amount of time is not a week, because when I logged into our Twitch,
it's 5 days, I think.
Is it? Okay, that's cool.
I saw someone else mention that, but I don't really understand that, because I've gone to people's Twitch channels and they have, 100 videos on there. I've seen that.
It might be that they're paying for the ability to do that, and
that might be true.
I don't know why you would do that when you can. You do it. You put your shit on YouTube and it's there forever.
Right.
which is what we're doing. This is going on our YouTube channel, and then I like the live thing. We just need to convince. I don't know what it is with people on TikTok. Are they afraid of Twitch? Because if I'm telling them, hey, come on over, and fuck you, you're not doing
Are
it.
you overestimating how many fans we have?
9. We have 9. Most of those
We
people
do regularly have 9 viewers. That's true. I don't know who they are, but we appreciate every last one of you.
we do. I will name something after you. I don't know what it is, but I'll name something after each one of you. Anyway, all right. I think we're right in at the 50-minute mark again. Woohoo!
Perfect.
We got a perfect rhythm going. All right. Until next week, then I will see you people back here, and soldier on, people.
Yeah, we'll probably be back next Saturday with another live recording. See you then.
Sounds like a plan. Adios. Stream ended.
This is my last week of freedom, man. I have to go back to work.
Oh, that starts on Monday?
No, I have all this week, and then it starts.
Oh, okay.
So I have one more week of vacation.
And is it just a 8 to 5 schedule?
8 to 4.
8 to 4.
Yeah.
That's if you don't take a lunch, right?
No.
Really?
It's a government job, so they care about labor laws. It's 8 to 4. I get a half hour for lunch and 2 15-minute breaks.
I don't think about it because I haven't worked day shift in years, and I guess the guys that work day shift do 8 to 4 because I come in at 4 and they leave at 4, and I know they don't come in before 8. So it must be the same thing.
Yeah, the only thing I don't like is lunch is defined. It's 12 to 12:30. I can't just do it whenever. I don't like that.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah.
Because I know
the email I got. Your work shift is 8 to 4. Lunch is from 12 to 12:30, and you get 2 15-minute breaks. All right.
But can you take your 15-minute breaks back to back?
I don't know.
So take it 12:30, 12:45.
I haven't had a 15-minute break since I was in high school, man. That when you work at a retail store, they give you 15-minute breaks. I've not had that anywhere else I've ever worked. So
yeah, the only place
even though if you look at the labor law poster in your break room or wherever it is at your place of employment, it'll say on there that you get those. But I've never worked somewhere where they cared about giving them to you. Although I've also never worked anywhere where I couldn't just get up from my desk and go take a break whenever I wanted. So
yeah, I don't know. The only place I ever worked where there were those 15-minute breaks was when I was in college and I worked construction. And those guys are religious about it because they'll all come around and say, "Hey, it's time for your break, 15 minutes." And everybody takes their break at the same time.
Yeah.
And I don't
know. We'll see how it goes. But there is an option after I've been there 90 days where I can work 3 days from home. So
that's awesome.
If I'm working at home, I'll take breaks whenever the fuck I want. Thank you.
Right. Get you one of those. They're selling them on TikTok. Those mouse pads with the little thing that spins and looks like you're working. Fuck yeah.
I never once thought of that. Never once. And I often would just walk away. I don't know. I think about when I worked I worked for a startup in Atlanta, and startups are frustrating at times. And I would literally just get frustrated, get up, go over to my buddy and be like, "Are you frustrated? You want to go for a walk?" And we were in an office park that had a nice walking path through like a wooded area with like picnic tables and stuff in it.
Mm-hmm.
And we would just go to take a nice leisurely stroll all through there for like an hour or more. Or we'd take like a 2-hour lunch and have a couple beers. We used to do that all the time. The 2-beer lunch. I don't know. I want to be able to do that. So,
I mean, objectively, that makes for a better. I mean, that's a kind of place that people want to work.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Well, that place also had beer and wine in the refrigerator. You weren't supposed to drink it until after 4. And we usually didn't. But also whenever we hit like milestones, like a sales goal or something like that, everybody would gather in the conference room and we'd have champagne. Mm-hmm. even at like 9:00 in the morning, like, "Oh, we had our first $10 million sale. Everybody come to the conference room. We're having champagne." It was a fun place to work, but also my work shift wasn't 8 to 4. It was more like 7 to 7. You know what I mean? It was a long day.
Yeah.
So
Oh shit. All right, I'm gonna
yeah, we
go.
got thunderstorms today, so I don't know what I'm gonna do. Probably nothing. They haven't started yet, but they're in the forecast.
Yeah, we are cloudy and overcast today, but we're probably clear from any rain for a while. But it's getting hot. It's getting into the
I
fucking.
forgot. I gotta call my dad. So my dad called me last night at 11:30. I was asleep. My parents have left Florida and they're on their way back to Pennsylvania. And they were supposed to stop in South Carolina somewhere last night. My dad called me at 11:30, which is way past his bedtime, but I was asleep and didn't see it. When I woke up in the middle of the night, because I think I told you I do 2 sleeps, and when I woke up from my middle of night sleep, it was like 2:30, and I noticed that he had called, but he didn't leave a voicemail, and he does butt dials a lot, so I thought it was a butt dial. But then I saw a text came right after the phone call. Like he called and I didn't answer, so he texted me, and it says, "On an adventure. I'll tell you about it tomorrow." What the fuck adventure is my 82-year-old dad on at 11:30 at night in South Carolina somewhere? I don't know, but I got to call him and find out.
Yeah.
I mean, it didn't seem like an emergency because he didn't leave a voicemail.
That's crazy. I want to know. I want to know the details of whatever you find out.
Yeah, you want me to call him right now?
Sure.
All right, let's find out. Hi. What are you doing late night adventuring? I thought you gave me a butt dial until I saw the text this morning. Ah, I see. Interesting. Okay. Well, I'm glad you made it to wherever you made it. Does that mean you can make it back all in one day since you made it all the way to North Carolina? Okay. Well, I'll be here. All right. See you then. All right. Bye. All right. So their hotel that they booked in South Carolina was the whatever town it was having a motorcycle thing. So there were all the people. The parking lot was full of motorcycles, and they were in the parking lot drinking and playing music and stuff. So the guy at the hotel said, "I don't think you guys should stay here." So then they had a hard time finding another hotel, so they drove a few more hours north until they found a hotel. That was the adventure.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. Like they were saying it wasn't safe or what?
I don't know. My dad just said the guy at the desk, his name was Josh, and he said, "I don't think you guys should stay here."
That's weird, bro.
Yeah. So the thing is, Erie, where I live, we used to have a motorcycle thing every year, and 100,000 people would come to it.
Yeah.
This population of this city is 100,000, so twice the populate. The entire population of the city again
Yeah.
would come here for a week. It was in August, and it was crazy. I mean, for that week there would just be motorcycles everywhere, and every hotel would be booked for miles around. I don't remember exactly what happened, but something happened with the vendors one year, and they got mad, so they moved it to Northeast, which is that's a town called Northeast. It's northeast of Erie, but they named it Northeast, and and they moved it up there for 1 year, but then not as many people went to it because there's nothing up there. And then they canceled it altogether. But yeah, it was called Roar on the Shore. The shore, because we're on the shores of Lake Erie, and they called it Roar on the Shore because motorcycles roar. And they would do like this big parade of motorcycles with like 100,000 motorcycles in it all through the city and stuff. I don't know. But I think, bar owners and stuff around here loved it because they would all put up signs that would say "Bikers Welcome."
Yeah, of
All
course.
of them would.
Yeah.
All of them would.
I got to give,
So
I mean, I'm not a biker. I've ridden a motorcycle my entire life up to present day. I give bikers a lot of slack, a lot of grace, other than the ones that are white supremacists, because there's a lot of those.
yeah,
Because they do a lot for charity. The
yeah.
motorcycle clubs do a lot for charity, and they get some grace from me for that reason.
Well, they had that Roar on the Shore thing, and they'll also be like, some of the streets downtown will be shut off, and they put up stages and have like concerts and stuff. I lived here for like 10 years when they had it. I don't ever remember there being any kind of negative anything that came out of it,
Yeah. I mean, there's always going to
other
be
than there'd be motorcycles everywhere, and I don't like the people that make their motorcycles louder than they need
I
to be. I
know.
don't like that.
That's yeah, I
That
agree
bugs me.
completely. My goal is always to tune my pipes to make my bike as quiet as possible. I don't.
I got a funny story about this guy. So this guy I used to work with. This isn't on the podcast, right? But
No, it'll be edited out.
this guy, he was a salesman at that company I worked for in Atlanta, but he was like very well dressed, very cosmopolitan, right? Here's an example. Another friend of mine at that company, we went to Talladega for a NASCAR race, and it didn't end up going to the race because we drank a bunch of moonshine and passed out and didn't make it. But we went down there and to meet up with this guy who was from Alabama. His Uncle Bubba. They had a campsite at Talladega, and we went to go meet up with Uncle Bubba. Well, Scott, the guy whose uncle it was down there already. And Lon, he's the guy I'm talking about. He and I drove down the day after. And Uncle Bubba, when we got there, came up to me and said, "You didn't bring a damn queer down here, did you?"
Oh, Jesus Christ.
That's Lon. So Lon, I don't think Lon's gay. I don't know, but he has that vibe, right?
Yeah.
He bought a Harley and rode it from Atlanta to Sturgis and went to the Sturgis thing.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine what it was like for him up there.
Oh my God.
Can't imagine.
Yeah, Sturgis was fucking crazy. I wouldn't go anywhere near there when that was happening. Yeah.
But I would think you wouldn't particularly want to go there if you might be mistaken for a queer, as Uncle Bubba put it.
There's got to be motorcycle clubs that are for gay and trans people, and I know that there's always going to be somebody that's got some kind of a fucking issue with it, but they should be taking care of themselves. They should be safe.
Do you wear a helmet when you ride your motorcycle?
Oh, all the gear, the thing is at a gat, all the gear all the time. Yeah.
You don't have to in Florida, right?
No, you don't have to.
You don't have to in Pennsylvania either, and most people around here don't. I think in New York you do. And when I was growing up in Syracuse, there was this group that was against the helmet laws, and they would do a helmetless ride for awareness or something every year. And one year, the guy whose group it was, during the helmetless ride, fell off his bike, hit his head, and died. That was the craziest story.
I mean, I'm all for people making their own choices and government staying out of it. But yeah, and that's what it is. But in Florida, you don't even have to have insurance on your motorcycle if you own it outright. You don't have to carry insurance as long as you wear a helmet. If you're not
Really?
if you're not wearing a helmet, you at least have to have liability insurance. It's weird.
Yeah,
And
well, I
then,
guess you can't. It's unlikely that you're going to hurt someone else on a motorcycle. You're the one that's going to get hurt.
almost certainly, yeah. And last year in Florida, they legalized what's called lane filtering. And I won't do it because my bike's too big to be lane filtering. And I don't really see too many people doing it, but you can do it now. I think it's crazy. I would, I, under no circumstances would I be splitting lanes going in between cars, but it's completely fucking legal now.
Yeah, you can. There's several states where that's legal.
Yeah. Fucking California. What? California's so fucking weird. It's not legal to have a camera on your helmet. I've seen so many videos of guys getting pulled over by cops in California because they've got a GoPro mounted to their helmet, or like my helmet, it's an integrated camera. You can't have that in California. Why? Fucking
Don't
ridiculous.
know.
I never want to go to California for any reason.
In Pennsylvania, if you're on a motorcycle and it's at night and you pull up to a red light, you don't have to stay at it because I guess they complained the motorcycles don't trigger the automatic system that changes the light.
Yeah, that's how it is here too.
So they made the law that you don't have to. If you're on a motorcycle,
Yep.
you can just go through red lights.
Yeah, that's the way it is true because that's part of when I drive home at midnight at night. The system changes for the red lights where the lights won't change unless it knows there's a vehicle there, and it never detects my fucking bike. And
Yeah.
so I will sit there for a few seconds, and I know it's not going to change. So I'll go through the red light as long as I know the intersection's clear. But it's still a little scary to do that, especially at night. I haven't had any close calls or anything like that, but I also haven't had a cop anywhere around me when I've done that. I know there are going to be cops that are not necessarily aware that it's legal to do that, and so they're going to be watching. I think what you need to do is you need to wait a certain amount of time. The intersection has to be completely clear, and then you can take it. But I'm just waiting for the time when a cop is somewhere I didn't see him, and he decides to take me to task for it. But whatever. All right, dude, I got to get some breakfast in me. I'm getting lightheaded, and then I'm gonna get hangry, and everything goes to shit from there.
All right, James. Fun talking to you.
Yep, I'll do some editing. I'll try to get this up today because I'm not doing anything else. And have a day, bro.
All right, man.
Adios.